सेकंड दोनों ही लेते हैं।
ठीक है, गो लाइव। Shrimad Bhagvad Gita Chapter 5 verse number 29, the last one. Today we conclude chapter 5 with the last verse. Although that we have envisaged a program on 31st of December, at the same time to review the entire chapter in one live session. But yet the vital aspects of the last verse of chapter 5 are no less than the entirety of the chapter. I must draw the notices upon something very important which comes out as the trait of the ancient Indian wisdom, which defies, denies, declines any probability or possibility of fear in relationship with the Almighty. There may be certain faith where a scare, an element of scare, of fear, may find its mention, I'm not sure, may find its mention as a relationship with the Lord or the Almighty on count of fear. But here, under this particular verse, it has been vehemently stressed that the relationship which the Almighty prevails all through with all creatures, all beings in any form, irrespective that it's only human, no, entire creation, all creatures, all beings, is of unconditional love, unconditional compassion. I can term it as unconditional love, compassion, and that too unconditional. The word Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. In Sanskrit it is written Suhridayam. Hridayam means dearest to the heart, close to the heart, towards whom you have special affection, highest emotion, unconditionally, Suhridam. Sarva Bhutanam means all creatures, all beings. Any kind of a creature, any kind of a being, the Almighty has unconditional compassion, unconditional love towards it. The intellect might question that would it have an unconditional compassion even with the sinners, people who commit ghastly crimes? If you talk about at a macro level about the system of the God, of the Almighty, it has unconditional love towards the most pious and the one who is a sinner, engrossed into sin. Why so? Reason being because the system has been created in such a manner that evolution is a mandate for every being, and that is the inherent feature of the entire operating system of this cosmos. Evolution even for the sinner. A sinner may choose to commit a crime, embark upon a sin time and again, but yet the system behind, the larger system behind of the Almighty works in such a manner that it, even through pain, even through punishment, however rude it may be, the idea behind shall be to reform a being, to evolve that being. Even in common parlance in the society, we observe that there are prisons when a crime is committed and it's proven with the test of the law that yes, someone has committed a crime, then a confinement into a prison is issued. And the idea behind that confinement is to reform the being. Not only that it's a penal action against the being, a punishment, but even a punishment with an idea that he or she should reform. Ultimate objective is reformation. And the same goes even into the system of the Creator, that any pain, if at all, if anybody is subjected to any pain, the idea behind is to reform, because at times people do not understand mere thoughts. People are not sensitized to gather and alter the way they should be conducting their own conduct. And at those moments, some harsh or some rude mannerism has to be adopted to alter their conduct, so that they change and ultimately reform. So any penal action, any rude, any harsh action is also with an idea to reform. Therefore, the unconditional compassion of the Almighty, even towards the sinner, is with an objective to reform, so that he or she may evolve. Had it not been compassionate, this system of the Lord, the existence of the Lord, had it not been compassionate, had it not been born out of unconditional love, the fact should have remained that one who is a sinner shall remain a sinner forever. No, it is not so. Each and every being has a past, and each and every being has a future. Anyone who is a sinner today shall not remain so forever, shall become the most pious at some future time. And whosoever is most pious and noble today may have an ignoble past. So it is a saying, it's an utterance of one of the greatest Himalayan masters, that there is no sage today who has no past, probably an ignoble past. They have evolved to the stage of being noble today. Likewise, there is no ignoble being who would not be having a claim towards a noble status in the futures to come. So therefore, evolution is a mandate, and the one who has created this mandate of evolution for all being, for all creations, for all creatures, obviously proves that it is unconditionally compassionate. It bears unconditional love towards all creatures and being. And this saying is a loud, it's a loud expression. Loud means not something which is inflated beyond actual essence. No, here loud should be taken as vehement. Loud should be taken as something which has been stressed, something which has been emphasized. It is an expression of ancient Indian wisdom which establishes the relationship between the creature and its creation of unconditional compassion and love. So therefore there is no room, there is no scope, there is no rule, there is no norm in this creation where one has to be scared, afraid, because generally what we observe around at times is that people create certain gods and demigods that people become scared of, and then out of a policy of appeasement, they try to please their deities for one or the other kind of a benefit, or not to fall under any kind of a remorse out of any bad infliction or negative infliction from their deity. People may be having such observances in their life, but the fact, as it has been mentioned in Shrimad Bhagvad Gita by Lord Krishna through Vyasa in Gita, stresses with all emphasis that unconditional compassion is the only and only nature of the Almighty. It is not there to take any revenge from anybody. It's not revengeful. It's not there to unnecessarily reprimand anybody, not unnecessarily to penalize anybody, not to infringe into the normal evolution of any being. No, not at all. It does not seek any kind of appeasement for itself. It's a compassionate system which evolves everybody. Even if one is a laggard, it gives an opportunity to reform. If someone is a sinner, it tries to peel off all those coverings that make one being commit sin one after another, relinquish that existence and come out of it with the same pious effulgence which every soul is embedded with. So this is the first understanding of the last verse. And second is, the Lord itself has made a declaration. It has made a small mention. It's a declaration in the form of a small mention about its all pervasiveness. The existence is its creation, and in its existence it exists everywhere. It's all pervasive. There is not even an infinitesimal particle in this entire existence where it does not exist, where its discipline does not rule. It says, I am Sarva Lok Maheshwaram. Sarva Lok means existences of all dimensions. Not only the dimension of physical plane, but even astral, the most subtle ones, the seen and the unseen world, everywhere, whatever it may be. 7 existences beneath and 7 above, the most lofty ones, everywhere, all over, into all countless galaxies in this cosmos, it pervades, it is pervasive, it exists. As the discipline, the word Ishwaram comes out of the word Ishva. Ish means discipline. It is the discipline. It is the source of discipline. It itself is a discipline at all dimensions of existence, known, unknown, whatever, wherever it may be. It is not only unconditionally compassionate, it also exists as a discipline everywhere. It's all pervasive. The third is Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam, which means that I am the receiver. The Lord makes a mention through Muni Ved Vyasa in Gita that I am the receiver, I am the beneficiary of each and every deed that you commit. Even if you are under an observation of austerity, it comes to me. If you are performing something which is of a highest order, that comes to me. Anything that you do for the sake of your own evolution ultimately comes to me. So that creates a premonition, a special premonition into the mind of a seeker that whatever I am doing, the attitude has to be at the highest order. Because anything and everything that I am going to dispense, be it austerity or be it any good sacrificial rite, ultimately the beneficiary or the one who is going to receive is the Lord itself. So any inferior, any mean attitude while performing any austerity or making any sacrificial obligation is going to demean my offering, because the ultimate beneficiary is the highest Lord. I generally give an illustration by saying that when we have to offer even a glass of water to someone we revere, towards someone we hold an adoration, how do we offer a glass of water? For someone whom we revere and we have an adoration towards, we offer even a small glass of water with an act of highest submission. Especially in India, we observe when we offer even a glass of water to someone who is elder or someone whom we revere, adore, we offer it like this. We try to place the left hand beneath the elbow of the right and we offer the water. Although offering a water or giving water to someone to drink could be a very easy act, can be easily dispensed with one hand, because the weight of the glass of water is not more than 200 grams or 250 grams. What is the need to create a support by the left hand beneath the elbow of the right? It's not this support seeking, it's this submission. You're trying to submit yourself out of great adoration and reverence towards that being to whom you're offering that water. It becomes an oblation towards it. So, this gesture, this physical gesture is a manifestation of the highest emotion that you bear for the one whom you are offering the water. And the same goes for Bhoktaram Yajna-tapsam. While we are under any kind of austerity or under any sacrificial oblation, anything which we are doing, it has to be done with great submission, because ultimately anything and everything that we do directly reaches the receiver. The receiver is none else but the Lord Krishna. And the last point under this verse is one who understands it at the depths. Gyatva mam. Gyatva means trying to, when you have understood a fact at your depth. There is a difference between absorbing a fact at your depth and knowing something. People know many things, but yet they do not absorb the fact at their own depths. They still continue with their old behavior. They do not alter, they do not change. So here it says, Gyatva mam, those who understand me, they mean the Lord, the existence of the Lord, the nature of the Lord, the conduct of the Lord. Those who understand me at their depths, Shantim Richati, they gather peace. But here the peace from the word in Sanskrit Shanti is not ordinary peace. Here Shanti is something more. I am writing it in English, Shanti. In English we write it as peace, but peace is too deficient to encompass the magnanimity of the word Shanti. It's not peace. Peace has something to do with stillness, maybe with harmony to some extent. But Shanti is beyond. Shanti talks about an order where everything is working, everything is under operation, everything is moving the way it should be moving. Which means that even the tides, the tidal movements, even the tectonic movements, even the most writing aspects in the nature, wherever it may be, they also become a part of an highest order in which a universe has to keep moving, maintaining its balancement. The highest turbulence, when it forms a part of restoration of an equipoise or an equanimity, that is Shanti. When we observe the Shanti, the mantra of the Shanti, we observe it by saying that yes, Shanti should be bestowed to the entire cosmos, creation, Shanti, bestowal of Shanti to medicinal plants, bestowal of Shanti to the planet, bestowal of Shanti to the deities, bestowal of Shanti everywhere, which means not peace but the order in which the entire creation should function, should be moving towards. In other words, it means one who understands the nature and the conduct of the Lord as all pervasive, the recipient of all offerings that we make, all austerity that we embark upon. Once we understand it at our depths and then conduct our all deeds in accordance to that, in that situation we gather Shanti. We gather the highest order in which our evolution must move. A small example goes for this. At times when there is a traffic jam, we are not able to even inch 5 meters in an hour. Neck to neck the vehicle gets really jostled, they are not able to move even an inch. It takes an hour to move and to cover or to inch 5 meters. Whereas in normal parlance, a vehicle should ordinarily be able to travel 50 kilometers on a highway within a span of 1 hour. Same goes for the human evolution. If there is no Shanti within and without our existence, the space of our evolution in the entire life will be decimated. We will not be able to inch forward in our own personal seeking evolution not more than a distance of 5 meters. And if in case we have been able to gather Shanti within and without our existence, we may be able to traverse a distance of 50 kilometers as a part of our evolution in this one life. This verse has enough to convey. It may be the last verse, but it encompasses a lot meaning into this. It's not only trying to emphasize the fundamental belief of the ancient Indian wisdom, which reiterates, which has to stress, has to emphasize, assert that yes, the relationship that the Lord has established with His creation is out of unconditional compassion. It's all pervasive into all dimensions of existence. It is the recipient and the beneficiary of all kind of our offerings. And if we are able to understand and conduct ourselves in accordance to this belief, we gather the state of Shanti where our evolution moves unhindered. From January onwards, 2018, we shall embark upon the chapter number 6, for which PDF notes to each chapter will also be served for those who seek them. At the same time, 31st of December, at the same time, we shall be having a review of the entire 5th chapter in one live classroom. Till then, Om Shanti, 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 Om.